Thick of it. We are live, live. Excellent. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Jen Zoe and Daniela, aka Free Coaching Friday, out in the fields. Today we are up in New York, or actually she is, and she's out with Whitey and Scotty over there. She's got a Whitey and I got a Whitey. Her Whitey's name's Snow, so that's pretty easy. But she's going to be, and it's actually not even Daniela's actual horse, but it's one of the horses that she has at Artemis Hill up in Chester, New York. For those of you guys who are like, where is she in New York? She's in Chester, which is just outside the city, about across the river, about an hour. So definitely worth checking out up there. I think it's probably a cool, pretty cool day there, huh? How's the weather?
It's great. It's a little overcast. It's not cold. It's perfect weather for this. So
Oh, this is fantastic. And you know what? Just kind of commemorate my first time there was almost exactly 3 years ago. It was this weekend in April in 2021 that I first came up and was hanging out with you and doing stuff with the horses. And who my guys weren't even there yet. Rose and Tuesday were, isn't that right? Just had
yeah,
Rose and Tuesday.
that's
Awesome.
right. Rose and Tuesday came
Rose and
first in
Tuesday.
April, and
Yep, and then the
then
rest of my crew came in July, and then we just had a blast. You guys, it was like if you've ever seen that old surfing movie from the '70s called Endless Summer, that's what it was. It was like this epic, incredible experience. And Daniela's there with her horse Scotty. Daniela, tell us a little bit about what happened with Scotty. And I hate to say this because nobody ever wants a horse to get injured, but kind of thank God it was Scotty. You know, because of his personality type. Had that been Rose, it might be a little bit different situation. So share a little bit about what happened with Mr. Scotty, and then we're going to go do something. And the topic this week, you guys, is simple things done well. And if you're just joining us and we don't know you, please drop a comment and let us know that you're here. We'd like to get to know who you are, and if you haven't seen us before, and if you have, please also drop a comment so we can say hello again and welcome back. So if you're here and watching, please drop us a comment so we can acknowledge you. And then Daniela is we're going to do two things today. She's going to share a little bit about having with Scotty, and then we're going to tackle Snow.
yeah. So Scotty is the brown and white horse right here, and he got an injury the other day. Very mysterious as to how, although I have a bit of an idea. But so he cut up his leg and his chest area, had to get stitches, and so I have him confined in the arena right now because he was in the stall for about a week, and he's still got a few more days before he can be, released back into the wild, so to speak, because because
Well,
we don't
and
want
I'm
his
going to cut you
stitches
off,
to
but I'll
rip
tell
or
you
anything.
something. I want to share this with you because um, a horse's skins, they're like unbelievably sensitive, but their skin doesn't cut like ours does. Hey, Cassandra. So, and Cassandra, she's been up here, up to your place in New York as well as to my place. So good to see you, Cassandra. Thank you for joining us. But it like you and I as humans, we can get a paper cut. Like seriously, paper can cut us till we bleed. That's a
Yeah.
thing. So when you look at a horse, they're yes, they're sensitive, but to cut through their skin and you guys, when she's being very modest when she says, "Oh, he cut himself up." No, his whole right shoulder underneath in this chest area was like flayed open inches, where
It
like
was pretty bad.
it
Yeah, it
was
was pretty
nasty, you guys.
bad.
It
And
was
like I
nasty.
said,
It takes a
he
lot to rip through a horse's hide.
well, so right. So he's doing great, and that was not a fun day, but it's been, like you said, it's been a lot of like, thank God it wasn't worse. Thank God it wasn't in a different place, all that, finding gratitude, and also being reminded of the things that matter, not to get too lost in any one rabbit hole here before we jump into working with Snow, but it really is a reminder of what is important in life, because when you're tending to an injured or a sick animal, or you lose an animal or a loved one or whatever it is, it really always brings things into perspective and makes me think about like all the silly things that I might worry about on a daily basis, and silly for me is not silly for someone else, and so on and so on, because some people worry about things that I don't even ever think about, and it
Right.
just it just makes it makes me think to myself, if today was my last day on earth, would this matter? Would what somebody said
Mm.
matter? Would what something happened no. And so I've been thinking that every day, and I got to tell you, every morning there's been something else happening, and I'm just like, whatever, because you know what? The only thing that matters is, how do I take care of it? How do I
That's
fix it?
right.
Who cares? Who cares about why, or oh my gosh, or blah 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 blah? It doesn't even matter anymore. It's just like, this is what's happening. I don't need to create a story around why it happened. It doesn't matter. The fact is that it happened, and I'm just going to do whatever I need to do to resolve it or take care of it or heal it or fix it or whatever.
That's right.
So, so that's that. And I don't want to go too much into that, because, I want to stick to our goal. We want to try to get a halter on Snow today, and our
Well,
beautiful white
everything
lady
you just
here.
said is this. It's all ties back into it. The
Yeah.
title of this is "Simple Things Done Well." And the reason I bring up the fact that, okay, it's kind of better that it was Scotty and not another horse is because, Scotty's a pretty solid character.
Yeah.
And the simple things that we do with him are a little different than not actually that different than what we're going to do with Snow, because Scotty and Snow are somewhat similar. So the white horse here, you guys, I want to make sure that this all ties back into understanding self, because I think one of the most important questions we can ask ourselves is, who am I? And you said it earlier. You were like, people talk to me and they're complaining about this or that. And you're like, man, I don't like, that's so foreign to me anymore, because we all used to be in that space at some point. But poor Scotty, went through this. But thank God it was somebody that has that level of fortitude to be able to go through it. So it wasn't worse. So it wasn't, a situation that could have been worse. Oh, boo boo. What a cutie. What
He
a
just tried. He
cutie.
just he just tried to nibble on my boob. This guy. He's so
Him and
frisky.
Trace. Trace, their boob men. I swear to God. He thinks their buttons are going to I'm going to poke on the boobs until the cookies fall out. It's so
There's no
funny.
cookies in these boobs.
These
That's
are
for
not
sure.
Pez
Although
dispensers.
that would bring a whole new idea to the phrase fun bags, right?
Maybe we
Because
need to rethink this whole OnlyFans thing, right?
fun bags Daniela's got cookies in her breast. No, that's not. That's not how that works.
They're not piñatas. They're not.
All right. Anyway, I digress. Let's get back.
So
To
here's the interesting thing, and this is what you could tell you right now about this white horse Snow. She's been standing there waiting.
Very patiently, yeah. She's
Yeah,
kind of like,
yeah, she's quite the stoic. So let's
I think she's almost on the verge of snoozing, but not completely. She's very comfortable. She's got her one hind leg kind of, like cocked, like she's chilling a little bit. You can't really see from that angle, but
right.
her ears
So
are kind of neutral.
watch her expression as you approach her.
Yeah.
Like be really tuned in. Let's why I put you on solo. Like, even when we started talking about her ears started coming forward. Even when we started thinking about her. So, like, as tough as Scotty's skin is, and as a horse's hide is, it's like leather, right? But there you go. Now, why did you choose to stop there?
Because
And
she perked up a little and acknowledged me,
yes,
and so I wanted to just kind of, because right, all about in the interest of having a respectful conversation. I don't want to just barrel through any of her
right,
boundaries. So she kind of
right.
gave me a look. She put some focus on me, but she's still kind of half asleep. It was a little. That's why I took a little step closer once she kind of, because her eyes are very soft right now. I can try to bring this a little closer
Yeah,
so
you
you can
could. But
see.
while Danielle is moving the camera closer, I dare to tell you guys a quick story. I'm an extrovert. Thank you, Captain Obvious. And Daniela, although extroverted, is also somewhat introverted. And so anytime I don't hear from her for a while, I'm like, is she okay? Should I call her? Because if it was me and I was going through something, I would want somebody to call me and pick up the phone and dial. I'm like, are you okay? Right. But I'm an extrovert. And so there was a meme I sent her recently that said, an extrovert's or an introvert's face when somebody calls instead of texts. And it was like, obviously ridiculous. Well, this is kind of what Daniela is doing right now with Snow. She's taking the time to, text, hey, is it okay if I call you? And as she said very poignantly, it a respectful conversation, right? Horses like Snow tend to tolerate our ineptitude like a lot. So even before you go and put the halter on her, I want you to, which, oh, your technique. Oh, good job, grasshopper.
Look at
So
this guy.
yeah, he didn't think that he got sliced up too bad, right? He's like, pay attention to
No,
me.
right.
He's
I think he's
a
getting a
boy
little spoiled. He's getting a little spoiled with my
with all the
attention.
attention. Yes.
Yeah.
And these
So
guys, like the magicians, these are the archetypes magicians. Both of these horses, actually. Snow's magician is still at Hogwarts, but Scotty is starting to exemplify that what it looks like in the archetypes of what the magician is. So before you even go and put the halter on her, and you might have to drive Scotty away just a little if it becomes too annoying. But see if you can touch her like kind of different parts of her body, or even put the halter on the ground. I love what you said. We're going to have a respectful conversation. And you and I've talked about this a lot, just on our, on our personal calls. Wouldn't it be nice if we lived in a world where we could disagree with each other's political and belief systems and say, hey, this is okay for us to have a lively discussion and disagree and be respectful. So what Danielle is doing is, and again, you're going to have to, which is such a great compliment. I mean, it's almost like sad to say, not today, Scotty, but it's okay, because what a compliment to Daniela and Scotty's relationship that she can do that. So maybe just drop the whole halter apparatus on the ground and see if she has any interest in taking a look at it. And it's just outside the camera view, but just like walk away from it a little bit and like leave it. Yeah, maybe put it a little closer to her, but leave it and see, kind of like see if she'll even smell it. Because we want people to accept us for who we are, right? And I say people, aka horses. We want horses to accept us for our ineptitudes and our lack of ability to run fast and in like they can. Because I guarantee you, Snow can outrun Usain Bolt given the opportunity. She's fast if she's cantering. So if you want them to actually engage, yeah, she's just not even interested. We have to
not interested at all.
not even interested, and that is very interesting too, because when look at her face, look at how her
Yeah.
ears are like kind of back now. And even though Scotty's sort of over there being a little Lord Fauntleroy, she's still not interested. And
No.
Scotty's over there looking and chewing, going, "Hey, what you got?" Blah, blah, blah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I would almost say Snow is shut down
Mm.
and is like only barely tolerating our presence in her world. She's like, "Well, I gotta live here. I don't, they don't have a choice." And she isn't
Right.
thinking about are you taking this personally?
Not at all.
Of course not. But a lot of people would. They're like, "Oh my God, why doesn't the horse even want to talk to me?" Well, why should it? Why should the horse want to talk to you?
So now just a little more too with what's been going on with Snow, because Snow's been kind of back and forth with having some gut issues. Like she's had some diarrhea. Now, it got a little more solid. Now it's getting a little soft again. So my intuition with her is she's going through her own emotional situation. What that is, I couldn't say. Um, because it's been very up and down. And so I almost feel like, to your point, if she is shut down right now, which it kind of feels like she's just like, whatever, not acknowledging
Mhm.
anything. But it could be because she's not even feeling 100% right now. Like, I don't think she's feeling very sick or anything. I just think it's just like, you eat something and you're like, my stomach's not great. So, like, when you feel, and that's of course, I'm putting my human idea around it, but just from being around her, that's my thought. What do you think about that?
I think that's absolutely spot on. And, just the fact that she's just standing there.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Right.
she's very much inside herself, and, like, that right ear tips over to you, and not necessarily to say hello, but to say, "Uh-oh, what's gonna happen next?" That's the first time I've seen her move.
Right, and that's because Ricky just moved, and so she just looked to see what she's doing.
Yes, and is what is the cool thing about your arena is that your footing doesn't allow for the horses to go bananas, which is great for Scotty. But they can move around in there pretty easily. So with the fact that she's just like legit standing there. So how would you if you were, your introverted self enough, what would you do to engage her in a way where that she would want to come out of that introverted state and connect with you? And this goes, you guys, if you're watching, drop a comment. I see you, I see you, I see eyeballs on us. Drop a comment, let us know that you're here, except unless you're an introvert. So so if you're just joining us, make sure you're letting us know, because we're going to be there. That was the first time she leaned in towards you. She leaned towards, right? And so she's so used to just tolerating what's happening. She has so much mental brace, this one.
Yeah, that's true.
Like if you give,
She just agreed.
yeah, she's like, thank you. At least somebody's picking up on this, right? And then Scotty's got to go put in his 2 cents, and she could give two shits about that. And she's probably got that. It's a little pixelated, but it looks like she has that left hind leg cocked. And
Yes.
know, you guys, when you see this, if you're watching, you see that it looks like they're calm and all those other things. But at the same time that something happens, she gets worried enough to either go inside herself even more, freeze, 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 then explode, or to take action and look around. Like when Ricky, I don't know, is Ricky still there, or she
Yeah,
leave?
she's got her
Oh yeah.
clients here.
Okay, perfect. So this is a really good opportunity for this horse. Like you could put the halter on her right now. She's standing like a freaking statue.
Right.
But if you really want to have a respectful conversation with her, then I would push Mr. Scotty away a little bit further so he's not trying to horn in on the conversation, and have a nothing for conversation with her, a no ask conversation. You and I are talking about this all the time. You guys are, anybody in sales, we're always saying, when do you make the ask? When do you, and Alex Hormozy says it really beautifully, give until they ask, right? Give, 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 give until they reach out to you and say, hey, oh my God, what you're doing looks really amazing, and I would like to be a part of it. Now, that doesn't keep the lights on if you don't have enough of that traffic flowing into you organically by giving and giving. So sometimes you do have to make an ask, or at least an offer, but it needs to be a compelling offer. And right now, this one is going, all you do is call me on the phone and ask me bullshit questions I don't want to answer. And I have no interest in what you're about. I see
And so
Scott
I
going,
just moved Scotty away, and she just took a step and licked and chewed. So I guess there's something going on there with that.
absolutely. And because you saw
Oh,
clearly,
and now she's
oh, and that only took like there, and then that whole head shake. That's just like us when now don't, just allow her to read the text, think about whether or not she feels up to responding, or if she wants to just, chill and smoke a little weed. Yeah. So interesting. And then she looks over and then look at her ears, how they go back. Left one kind of flipping back and forth. Interesting about her is that her right ear moves more than her left ear. Just
mm-hmm.
noticing little, like the reason why we do this, you guys, isn't so we can sit here and say, yep, she's white. Yep, still white. We start looking for what is important to her. And you and I do it all the time. It's like, I pick up the phone, I want to give you a call and go, here, let's put the halter on and go, go for a ride. And you're like, not without a shot of vodka.
I'm on a cleanse, so right now it would be a shot of
Yes.
celery juice.
There you go. So there she shifted a little, right. And so I would even move Scotty a little further away. So, because I can still see that tail. I can still see that tail. And we want to give her as few things. She's standing on it, isn't she?
Well, I'm just gonna leave it there, and I'm just gonna use the stick to get
Oh,
him.
okay, perfect. Yeah, they just move him away a little. And look how she's getting curious now. Tap, 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 tap. Go to your home. You're like Happy Gilmore over there. Tap, tap, tap.
You
Go
know,
to
he
your
doesn't take offense
home.
to he doesn't take offense to
No,
anything, which is
no.
great. So that's why, like, I don't have to worry about. And it didn't take much. It was just a few little taps, and he
Tap,
was
tap,
more. He's
tap,
more
tap.
like, well, geez, all right. I was just hanging out. I just want to know what you guys are talking about. Geez, like,
Yeah, I just can I just sit in the hallway and listen in on the adult conversation? No, actually you can't. So I he's such a stinker. So funny. So
keep
what was
moving.
yeah,
Thank you.
just
Thanks,
a,
buddy.
just a little bit. It didn't have to be crazy, just a little bit. Right.
Oh
So-
well.
right. And now look at Snow. She's looking to see where Scotty is. So do you see how internally, I don't want to say the word worried because that's a bit of a stretch, but you
Right.
see how much like internal brace she has. Like, what's about to happen? I'm probably not going to like it.
Yeah.
And every now and then she comes out of her shell and looks around. It's like a little
Yeah.
turtle sticking her turtle head out.
Yeah.
So no wonder she has some diet stuff happening.
Mm.
And there's
Yeah.
her buddy over there. Your
And
Dante.
she's kind of right, and she's got right now one ear, both ears on what's going on behind her
Yeah.
too.
So
So she's
the recipe for the respectful conversation right now is to just wait for her to send you a text back.
mm,
And what are the out of the H's. So Danielle and I and our Zen Club community in our 2 a.m. inner circle, we do a thing called which H do you need? And if you guys don't get anything out of this conversation except this little nugget right here, it will change your relationships. So right now, Danielle has taken the time to ask her, which H do you need to be heard? Out of the H's, there's 4 of them. Do you need to be heard, held, helped, or healed? Heard, held, helped, or healed, right? Those are the 4 H's. Most of us don't want to be helped. Like was that her?
no, it was bourbon behind her.
Bourbon, but still relaxation's coming from somewhere.
Well, and Oliver and Mo are sprawled out right in front of the barn too, taking a snooze. So
Oh, so they're laying down. So everything
uh,
about this is being very calm, right?
mhm.
So watching her, there I heard another one.
I don't know. I didn't hear it.
So there's the maybe it was just hooves on the gravel too. But the key piece is when you spend time with
She
some
just took a deep breath. She just took a
oh,
deep breath.
did she exhale or just inhale?
No, she just inhaled, but I think it's coming.
Yeah. And so this is a definite opportunity to, when in doubt, lean out. So the 4 H's, do you need to be heard, held, helped, or healed? She just needs to be held right now, meaning that we're waiting for her to feel safe in the container that we have created for her at Artemis Hill in Chester, New York, where Daniela does these really great summer camps. But that's it. It's like, when do you lean in and say, oh, if you would like to experience this, this is how you do it. Because we would like Snow to experience the halter today
Mm-hmm.
and trust it and have it be a respectful conversation on both sides.
Yeah.
But I'm waiting for her. And now both of her ears are forward. And this is a really, really great. We've been here for about 25 minutes and we haven't really asked her to do anything, but she hasn't really offered either. So the day that we had to load her on the trailer was really interesting and sometimes somewhat a little bit challenging because we needed her to do something that, that's butter. So you're right. The exhale's got to come eventually. And sometimes they get stuck when they're standing still. So like us, when you get stuck sitting at a desk, your shoulders hunch, your trapezoids get tight, your neck stays the same position, your lower back and different things. If you every now and then would get up and move around a little, You would keep keep moving. So she may not be able to release this tension just standing.
Mm.
She might need to move her feet a little. But for us to ask her to would be the wrong answer, even though we know it would be beneficial for her because she wouldn't understand. Oh, wow. Cassandra, you need to move, huh? That's what Cassandra just said. That's how I have been feeling.
Mm.
Mm, yeah.
Well, what's interesting about that too is that I've been feeling the need to move more too lately. Like which is great considering the weather. I've been out here with these guys a lot lately. I've been walking up and down the driveway, moving around, feeling that need to because it's true when we're still, can become stagnant, and a body at rest wants to stay at rest. And
Absolutely.
so it's
And it's hard when you get stuck. It's hard because that tension gets stuck in your immobility. Yeah, there you go. Big yawn. There it is. So and look at how even her expression has changed a little. Her ears are coming forward. Again, is seemingly relaxed. But what if you changed positions and went over by little Lord Fortnroy over there by your right shoulder?
who is right here trying to sneak back in, by the way.
Yeah, that's what
Literally right here.
you know what? As much as I hate to say it, that's kind of what we're looking for. That's what we want. We want that to happen. We want them to, be able to come over and be all of the things and the stuff. So what I would do is go over by her left hip. Do your best to kick him out of the equation, obviously, but at the same time, and see what happens. By her right hip, like back over by, yeah, way back by almost by that post that's directly behind you. There you go. And then just hang out there for a little bit and wait. This stuff, you guys, blows people's minds. Can you imagine a conversation where somebody waited for you to finish your sentence?
Aha! That's funny coming from you.
Right? I'm the worst. I'm always like, "No, no, this is really important. You gotta hear it." And that's great as a leader when you're the speaker and whatever. And for her, because she's not a Bella, nobody does let her ever finish her sentences. And so she just kind of shuts down and doesn't really talk a lot. And she's like, yeah, if you're going to talk over me, I ain't going to talk.
And it's funny too because she is a very what's the word? When she has an opinion, it's a strong opinion. She doesn't back down. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I don't know what you're saying, Daniela. Are you Sicilian? What? I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Because so it's like, it's interesting when she exercises that strength and when she shuts down.
Mhm. Watch for when that happens because it's when she exercises that, you have to decide real quick whether or not you want that to be a part of your existence.
Well, and there's been a couple of times where I can't stop her. She's barreled through me. And at that point, listen, I can only do so much with my tools and my energy, but when, a 1,500-pound animal is pushing through me and I'm literally being pushed out of the way, what am I going to do? I kind of got to go with the flow on that one
Yeah.
and then figure out later how to handle
Yes.
that even better because,
That's
how my
right.
guys are. I whistle and they all come in for grain and they go in their stalls. Well, now that we have these two new family members, there's been a little disruption to that process, which
Sure.
it's fine.
Oh,
It
there
makes
we go.
sense.
Now I bet she licks some shoes. Now we're watching. It's like, Snow, you're
Yeah.
not that good a poker player. So now we know one of her tells is to rub her right leg on her right knee with her right eye.
Don't you knock
Oh,
that over. Don't you knock
that's
that
cool.
over, girl.
Even if she does, like, look, and it's very tough because we don't want her to knock it over, but we also don't want to knock any curiosity out of her, you know? So just try do your best to sort of hold it so she can smell it. But the fact that she got curious after almost 30 minutes, 29 minutes and 57 seconds, she got curious.
Lick and chew. There it
That's
is.
right,
Hey.
look at you. And now we might have a chance to put a halter on her in a way that would be respectful in her eyes. Because isn't it true that we want relationships where someone else puts our needs at the highest level, and we can in turn put their needs at the highest level? I mean, isn't that what this is all about? This relationship experience, having compassion while we express our boundaries. Because I guarantee you, now look at Snow's ears. They just went up back because you went behind her, but now she's
Well,
paying attention to you.
I don't know if it was me or if it was the two having their conversation back there, Scotty and Troy.
Yeah. Troy, Little Lord Fauntleroy.
And I
So
want to
cute.
move Scotty, but I don't want to move her. So this is
No,
let me
then
see.
just go move Scotty. Because then she went back inside herself a little. She got curious and then she got worried again. Right? Those two. And she's got a lot of ideas inside her head, but she never gets she never gets the opportunity to speak. And when she does, it has to be out of defensiveness for herself. Certainly is not because she wants to be with somebody and somebody does ask her to do something she doesn't want to do, chaos ensues. And it's not only a no, but it's a hell no. And then she goes, "You keep pushing, you're going to push me to be a dick. Don't make me be a dick."
Sorry, it sounds familiar.
I don't know what you're talking about. But this whole just holding space for her is going to really change. A lot of this undemanding time is what we call it. Because
Yeah, and
isn't
she's,
some yeah.
her lips are quivering. I don't know if you can see it. Like she's
No, her face is just below that. There we go.
Yeah.
Snow. So whoever, do you know how old she is?
I think she said, I don't. I would have to ask her. I don't remember now. She told me something, but my brain.
So
Like when I get
there's a really great movie on it's old actually with Angela Bassett called Waiting to Exhale. And I don't know if you've ever seen, don't care if you've seen the movie. Just the title alone is that waiting to exhale. Like we're waiting for her to relax into being okay. And she looks like she's sleepy and kind of dopey and one of the other
Right.
doors. But she's not. She's not. And she's saying a whole lot. I'm hearing a whole lot of no from her. There's a little bit of yes. And she still has a huge blowout in her. So I would go back to go back to where Bourbon is behind you. Yeah. And just start building a little curiosity. We had to move here so she didn't like wreck our camera crew.
Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay.
And you are already okay, Cassandra. Cassandra says, "I'm waiting to be okay." Well, don't hold your breath like Snow is, because it might take a while. And that's what you gotta do too. And even so, like Daniela, I would play a little bit of the hide you behind you game. And try not to pay attention to the ridiculousness behind you. And just see how long it takes. No flicking of the stick, no anything. This is a waiting game with these guys. Oh, look at that. She's like, "What are you doing back there?" So what Daniela is doing is sort of just hiding. Like, have you ever been driving down the road and you're like, the trucker in front of you is, if I can't see your mirrors, if you can't see my mirrors, I can't see you. That's kind of what Daniela is doing, is like hiding in her mirrors. Horses have only about a 6 degree of 360 degrees slice behind their butts that they cannot see, and a very, very small spot right in front of their nose, which is why if you try to give a horse a carrot with your hand, they're like nibbling on your hand to try and find the carrot. They're not looking for your fingers, trust me. So to just kind of be back here and just sort of just wait for her to make a decision about what she wants to do.
And
And
it's interesting because she moved a little, she looked, but it's like she now went right back in. It was
yeah,
like, now should I have given more when she started to move? Should I have gone to her or stayed back here like I did?
well, it's a, it's the correction of, are we going to Alaska? Or are we going to Hawaii? We're always course correcting, always. So you could, either one would have been fine. And the key piece to this is for us is to wait. It'd be real easy for you to just flicker on the tail with the string and have her get excited and maybe move her feet. Let her work it out a little bit. We're going to support her through the process, not push her through it. I'm working with a friend right now, and she's has had an injury with a horse, and so we actually rode recently. And she said, I was really nervous, but I pushed through it. And I was like, no, don't need to do that. Like, this is, you shouldn't have to push through fun. Shouldn't have to
Mm.
be a push for it to be fun. Let's go slower. Let's do less things. Now, that doesn't mean you don't ask for more of yourself. Like, have you ever gone on a roller coaster and you're like, oh my gosh? But that's more like happy trepidation or happy anticipation, not, oh, I was really scared, but I pushed through, got to the other side, and yay, that's not what this is about. How about not making it that hard for yourself and just taking a little more time? Has she looked and chewed again yet?
Well, I'm standing behind her, so I don't know. I haven't. She want me to come back up?
No, no, you just need to stay where you are. The camera is going to be where it is. And, if she gets really comfortable with you back there, I mean, we've been here for, gosh, 37 minutes now. Holy cow, right? Holy cow, that she's that comfortable with you back there. Now you might take a little pebble and throw it towards her tail, or give her a little flick behind. Amy Beller. Hey, are you watching, Amy? She says that she comments, she said, and push through, I rode through. Even better, even better. And she sees who I was talking about. I was going to keep her anonymous, but she commented, yeah, no, Amy it was beautiful to watch. It is, to have a little bit of, to have butterflies are fine. We just need to make sure they're flying in formation, so we aren't, you know, putting ourselves in such, fearful situations that we aren't sure about it. Busted. That's awesome. So awesome. So now Snow's kind of back here, still unsure. If she was curious about why you were back there, she would turn around, right? But she's so inside herself that, to just, right, to just wait for her. And I've never seen this take more than 2 days. There was a time where I was doing a lot of performances with Trace, and it was about 2010, I would say. And we were doing a lot of performances, a lot of stuff all the time. And he was kind of done. He was like, I'm over it. And so we would get on, and anytime anybody else would ride him, he would be like, "What? I'm just doing this to get through the day." So one day we sat there. It was a client I had from Poland, and she sat. It was killing me. It was killing me. We sat there on the horses for almost an hour, just sitting there, completely still. I was on Dante. She was on Trace, and it took almost an hour before finally Trace exhaled and turned and looked back. So it might take longer for this horse. Because, yeah, we could tag her and move her around and jostle the energy, and maybe doing a few. There we go. There we go. Why not? There's your tail. Head down. break the camera setup, lick and chew. She's probably gonna lick and chew. If she doesn't, you can not allow her to. It's like the Blair Witch Project.
She's got a thing for this camera. It's like she knows you're talking and she's like, all right,
Aw,
girlfriend.
whatever she has to say, listen to that. But now that's the first time she's connected to you. Like
Yeah.
she touched you on her terms, so resist the temptation to pet her. There, that's it. That's what we're looking for. So if she's touched you and sort of rubbed on you a little, then we can think about maybe asking her out on a date, or for coffee. Yeah. Resist the temptation. Do you remember when we were at 13 Hands? And at the end of the day, after I was out there in the blazing ass sun with those 2 horses, and the Angela chick went up to go kiss the horse and it ran off. And I was like, you got greedy. You got greedy. Don't do it.
Well, you just said now that you can pet. You confuse me sometimes because you say you're expressing a lot of thoughts and there's like, because you just said, well, now that she touched you, you can, and then you rolled off into another statement. So it's like you didn't finish the sentence, but it
Oh yeah,
sounded like
and
now you
wait
can pet
longer.
her.
You can recognize that she's connecting to you.
Okay. So then finish the sentence before you start another one, because that sounded like you were saying, oh, okay,
Yeah.
now that she had touched you, you can touch her, but that
No,
that
not in
wasn't
this.
what you
And
were
this
saying.
is one of those. She's definitely aloof. So definitely, this is the when in doubt, lean out. And when she connects with you, like just softly acknowledge her. And maybe send her a text back. That's what happens. She acknowledges you, and you pick up the phone and call her. What? And she already threw her phone down and ran away. And it's a fine balance between when to connect and when not to. Because if you don't connect with her after so much time, she's going to get bored with you and go, well, you called me, but you texted it, I responded, and then you never did nothing. So it is a fine line, especially with her in this particular circumstance. Because she's starting to show a little curiosity, and we want to play on that. We want to build on that. We want to acknowledge it. And your horse will tell you. No matter what I say, the horse never lies. And I'm just a translator and a facilitator for what they're offering. Because she's still, in my mind, pretty braced in as far as like what she is used to having humans do to her instead of for her. And and Cassandra nailed it. Like she's this horse, and a lot of us are waiting to be okay. And how do you know that you're okay? Now you might offer your hand and see. There you go. That's better. Yeah. And this is why online dating doesn't work. Because they're all fine and good as long as they can text and ghost. But when they actually have to touch and connect, it's hard because there's a risk of rejection. There's a risk of vulnerability. It takes effort, time, patience. Relationships are not easy. There, she perked up a little. But this is what I would do for a good 30 minutes every day for at least a week.
Well, and it's interesting.
Exhale?
Huh?
Did she just exhale?
No.
No? Okay.
I was going to say is what's interesting about this too is because she's been having her stomach issues and she's on all this medication twice a day and needed to be stalled. There's been a lot of, she hasn't had a choice in anything. There's been, you got to go in the stall and you got to eat this. And so if it wasn't already there, it's now just heightened probably because of all the must-haves that have been happening
Mm,
here in the past couple weeks. There hasn't been a lot of getting to let her. It's been a lot of you got to do this right now.
right. And how interesting, what does that look like in the entrepreneur's life or the go, 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 gotta get shit done kind of life that we tend to drive ourselves to? No wonder we want to shut down and get cheap dopamine by doom scrolling and by shutting down or by, exploding, throwing up on our friends, depending on if you're an extrovert or an introvert. Because I don't blame her. If she's been poked and squirted and prodded and poked and stuff, then why would she? What would she have to be curious about if that was her experiences for 2 weeks or for a period of time? Now that was an interesting look. That's it. That's it. But even though even
Did you
though
catch
she
that?
yes, I did. They're kind of tough to miss. I'm seeing her broadside now. Now, do you feel
She's not
how
happy. She's pissed actually right
yes,
now.
she is pissed. And so there's two things about this. Well, we don't want to teach them to do that to us. Well, she's expressing herself and you want her to do that. We just also want to make sure that there are boundaries around that expression that don't put you in a place where you have to move in a way that tells her that she can do negative things, so you will move. That's a boundary for sure. But at the same time, you balance it with, well, and we did tend to do this when we make excuses for our behaviors. Well, I've been feeling sick. So what? Yeah, we'll give you some grace this time. Like you just gave her grace.
Yeah, well, especially because I don't even know her that well. We literally just met like maybe a month ago. So, I mean, I'm certainly not comfortable to be expressing that boundary right now with her because I don't know how powerful she really is. And I'm
Yep.
not necessarily confident that I could have prevented had I stayed there and created the boundary.
Right.
So for me, I don't care. I'm getting
Right.
the fuck out of the way.
Amen, sister.
Yeah.
That's so true. And if you don't, and that I do that when I have people come out to the barn, and Dante isn't the ridiculous horse he used to be, but I would come to the barn and I had to draw a chalk circle, like where you could and could not. If you were inside the chalk circle, you could not sue me if he bit you. Because I warned you, if you go inside the chalk circle, because he's in a stall, he can reach his head out the window. If you're inside, if you're close enough to get bit, then you effing deserve it. So, and the same thing with her. You didn't have the skills or the tools, that you didn't have your stick handy, you didn't have, whatever, like you said, the confidence to deal with whatever that nonsense was. But now that's telling me that she's not happy with, she doesn't know what to feel curious about. It doesn't feel good to her to feel curious anymore because she's so used to it not feeling good, especially the last couple of weeks. And who knows what her background is? Who knows what her childhood trauma is?
Yeah. And it's interesting that that's your perspective because what I just immediately felt too was that like we're over here and I guess it's the same thing but just a different explanation of it because as I'm thinking what I'm thinking, I guess it's the same of what you just said, but like to me what this whole experience we're waiting and we're waiting, but it was like too much waiting. Like she's like, all right, enough. Leave me alone.
Mhm.
I'm not ready to hang out with you. I'm not ready to go on this date. I'm not ready to respond to the text, whatever.
That's
But
right.
yet we're sitting here waiting. And even just the energy of sitting waiting is too much for her. She's like,
Yes.
no.
Yep. Yep.
And she
And
just licked and chewed, and now she's probably about to walk away. It looks like she's getting ready. Oh, no, changed her mind.
so just
Just
observing
thinking.
her.
There it is. I knew she was getting ready to walk away. She's
Yep.
like, yep.
And so now you could probably start having a conversation with her because now that she's moved a little bit, she's probably she licked and chewed. She's probably going to exhale, probably going to have a different, now would be a really good time to stop.
Well, I was just going to say, I don't even want to engage with her again because
She told you she was done.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I thought what you just said was now would be a good time to continue the conversation.
No, we're done.
Yeah, we're done for sure.
We're done. Now the other thing you could do is go like grab a chair and sit and read a book because hello, it's your property and you have the right to occupy space, right?
Mhm.
So, but to try and get her to listen to what you're trying to say, even if it's passive right now, you're
Mhm.
not going to have much luck. So, and you could we? Of course, but you would have to have something so juicy and so compelling and so awesome that she and we don't. Not today,
No.
and what about honoring the other individual in the conversation when they're done and they're like, hey, you know what, you can almost feel it when they disengage, but she was
Oh
engaged
yeah.
for a while, and guess what, next time it won't take 50 minutes, it'll take 30, and she'll connect and she'll go, oh, you're not here to just put a halter on me and drag me around and pump me with meds and put me on a trailer and do stuff to me. So this is all just about understanding her needs and going back to the three H's, held, or the four H's: heard, held, helped, or healed. And helped and healed kind of go hand in hand, but most of us don't want that. Most of us just want to be heard.
Well, I certainly heard her.
And what did she say? That's beautiful. People are like, "Oh, you're an animal communicator." No, well, okay, maybe, but I just watched. I just observed. God forbid we actually start learning how to communicate with each other. What did she tell you?
um, that she's not in the mood to have this conversation. She's she wasn't I almost feel like she was sleeping when we started or was about to. It was like she was about to take a nap. She's had a long day. And here we are knocking on the door, like, hey, but can you just give me 5 minutes? And it's like, well, but I'm tired. I don't feel like it.
Mm.
Well, but maybe just 5 minutes. And she's like, "Ugh, just leave me alone." And we're like, well, but just fine, 3 minutes. I really like, I feel like we were, even though it was respectful, because like you said multiple times, we could have been even more abrasive, like more pushy, more, but we just were standing here and even that was too much. She was like just not in the mood for it at all.
That's
And
right.
then it got to the point, I think, when she moved closer and then I walked around, I was too close to her. I think I was too close walking from side to side because I was thinking I just wanted to get her curious, but it was too close for
Mm,
comfort. And that's when she was
mm.
like, yeah, no more of that. So okay, I learned something about her. I don't know if she learned anything yet, but
Well, she's gonna be thinking about this for a while,
yeah.
for sure. And tomorrow it'll be a different conversation. And every time you stop, you nailed it. You're a little close, okay, fine. But listening, who does this? Who actually takes this amount of time to listen to the fact that, okay, you have a right to be in the arena. You pay for it. It's your fucking arena. But at the same time, not putting yourself in, yeah, right. It is your arena. Hell yeah. But you know what I mean? So to just wait tomorrow, she was going to be like, oh, she didn't push. She asked, but she didn't push. And man, if anybody in sales, if you could hone in on this concept and understand who your client is and when you're talking to them and when you're dealing with them, you'll be able to close these guys. And then you'll be able to gently nudge them into what you feel would be the next natural step. And that is a huge responsibility as a salesman and a leader to tell people, I think that you should do this. Because there's so many people out there these days telling horses and people what they think they should do with no credentials, no background, no major amount of knowledge except going to a Tony Robbins event or cutting off a cereal box top and sending in your $10. Because it doesn't take anything to be a coach or a horse trainer. All you need is a business card.
It's funny because now she's like trying to engage with Scotty and he is not in the mood.
right? But that at least she's thinking about being engaged, and we didn't pressure her. Can't pressure you. You can direct these kind of horses, but you and individuals, but you cannot pressure them. All they're going to do is make your life really, really hard. Cool.
All
Well, there you
right.
go. Well, now
There you have it.
this would be a good first part in a series. I think we should do. So you wanted to do some videos. We were talking about doing some videos, you guys. That this would be a really good one because this horse will be. I promise you, if Daniela follows this protocol and we continue down this path, Snow will be cantering to Daniela in no time.
Well, it might as well. She's just shown us she needs it. So
Yeah. And that's the beautiful thing. And that's one of the things I love about Daniela, you guys, is that she doesn't have a lot of, well, just kick him to go and pull on the reins and turn him that way. And just, she doesn't have any of that. She's like, well, what's important? What's important to the horse?
yeah.
And wouldn't it be nice to be in a relationship with somebody who said, hey, what's important to you? And really genuinely and authentically mean it. Yeah. That's what we're about, you guys, building relationships based on the needs of the other individual. That's the best marketing and sales you could be. And it's the best human being you could be because it shows up as your authentic self. Cool. Great job, girl.
All right. Thanks.
Yep. We'll see
Thanks
you
for
guys.
joining us.
Yeah, next time next on the 29th of this month, I have starting my 5-day self-discovery challenge. I'm going to be posting that in the comments. It's totally free. It's live with me, and Daniela would give me another thing to rhyme with, and come see it so you can be. I don't know. She's a better rhymer than I am.
You're definitely not going to hug a tree, but if you want to hang out with me, it will just feel like total glee.
Oh gosh.
Nobody said it had to be an actual word, right?
No, that's true. That's true. All right, my friends, have an amazing day. Great job, Daniela. And we're going to stay tuned with Snow and her progress because I think that would be a great one to follow. Keep us updated on Mr. Scotty and his process and his healing. And now look at her looking at you. She's like, that's an interesting human I might need to pay attention to. And that's what we all strive to be, better for ourselves and better for the people and animals that we love and care about. All right, y'all, and have an incredible rest of your weekend and believe in yourself. It will change your life. Bye.
Bye.